Humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, my worshipful Guru, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, to all the sages and saints of this world, and to you divine souls watching this satsang. Today, we are going to study Sutra number 2 of the Raja Yoga Sutras. So let's get started. We will repeat each sutra twice so you can hear the Sanskrit version. Just hearing the Sanskrit version is also very auspicious because that's how these revelations came to the sages and saints. So the second sutra starts with Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yoga, I explained the meaning yesterday. That means to connect, to join, or so connecting our consciousness to God's consciousness and becoming one with Him. That's the real meaning of yoga, not just exercises that most people think of. Chitta is mind stuff. Vritti is thought wave that has come out of your mind stuff. And Nirodha means control, suppression, or total cessation. So what does it mean? This sutra means that yoga is the cessation of the thought waves or the modifications of the mind stuff. Imagine what a beautiful thing that the sages and saints have done. Mind is constantly stressed, it's constantly thinking, it goes through thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day, every single minute. So this art will teach you how to control your thought process. So there are 4 major types of yoga, and we call it integral yoga when you follow all 4. But in this satsang and in this whole satsang series, the focus is on Raj Yoga. So there is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is yoga of action, selfless service. Karma Yoga. Then the second one is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means devotion and singing bhajans, chanting kirtan, those kind of things, in ecstasy of God, just enjoying through singing and devotion. The third one is called Raj Yoga, which is this series that we are starting with from sage Patanjali, control of the mind and the royal way to get to God realization. And then the fourth one is called Jnana Yoga. Jnana means the knowledge. See, knowledge takes us from the darkness to the light. If we don't know something, once you learn it, it becomes easy. And that's what the knowledge of Jnana Yoga is. So holistically, these 4 are called the integral yoga. And therefore, we follow this process of integral yoga. Bhagavad Gita teaches you the same process of integral yoga. So these are the 4 types. And in Raja Yoga, the emphasis is to control the modifications of the mind. See what happens, the mind is always changing from one thought to another and another, and we get distracted. And that's why these kids these days, and we all suffer, so many of them, from ADHD, ADD, attention deficit disorder, too many thoughts. That's what that really means, that our attention cannot be focused for even a little while. So therefore, yoga has been defined as the cessation of the thought waves of the mind stuff. So that's what that means, that we completely calm it down. And chitta is the mind stuff. So let's we'll get into that a little bit deeper, but the concept of chitta is very profound, so we need to fully understand it, and we will cover it more and more in detail as we go deeper. But at the outside, it's important to know that chitta is basically your conscious, unconscious, and subconscious. So when you combine all the 3, that term is called chitta. So there is no one English word that can be translated into this Sanskrit word chit. Chit means your storehouse of all the thoughts that you have put in from many lifetimes. See, we are a product of many embodiments. We just didn't magically appear out of nothing. We are the creators of this body through our previous lives and previous actions. That's what that is. So avritti then, so from this unconscious, conscious and subconscious function of your mind, there is a thought wave that sprouts. Think of a lot of seeds, but then when a seed is sprouting, each seed sprouts separately, doesn't it? So when that seed has just sprouted from it being a seed state to now being a sprout state, that can be called as a vritti, and that's a thought wave, and now that is no longer in your subconscious or unconscious, that has come to your conscious level. Now it starts to travel and goes to your mind. That's what that function of vritti is. All experiences in human life, see, what do? We sleep, we dream, we are awake, then we have death, and finally rebirth. So all these processes are universal laws according to Sanatana Dharma, and they are brought by how? They are brought by vrittis of the chitta. Just imagine, this term vritti is so deep that, because if it's a positive vritti, it will take you in a positive direction, and if it's a negative vritti, it will take you downwards. So these vrittis are further divided into 5 types, and we will study these later, but I will just mention them here. We will not get into the depths of it just yet. They are called perception, misconception, imagination, memory, and sleep. See, I told you this is a very wonderful, very detailed science, so I hope you are starting to see the depth of this Raj Yoga scripture that we have picked for our evolution. Nirodha, or cessation of the vrittis, is a significant term. Nirodha means purification. By the practice of the lower and higher samadhis, which is the states of super consciousness. Samadhi is when you are able to transcend time and space, and when you are able to do that successfully, that takes you from a conscious state to a super conscious state. And all kind of scientific experiments are being done these days to test these yogis, and they have found amazing results from that. A yogi detaches himself from the chitta. See, you understand? So what has happened is, for that yogi, when he is in that super conscious state, he learns this art to detach completely from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious. So therefore there is no more thought waves of vrittis coming anymore, and he is no longer therefore associated with the mind. Think of the water hose with the tap. So once the water is on, the water will continue to flow, but once you shut the tap, no more water. And that's exactly what one experiences in this state. So this is Sutra number 2, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. I hope you enjoyed this sutra. Om Tat Sat.